You'll appreciate me.
Well, there is a man that I don't think this has been talked about enough. We've talked about this show all the time. Family Matters. Jaleel White has a book that just came out, and he's been causing some clustering around here and there. But he goes on to a podcast, or he was doing a live interview, and he discusses how the reason he thinks Family Matters is not in the echelon or considered one of the best Black sitcoms. So let's let him talk.
Being a part of the TGIF brand sometimes makes you feel like you don't completely belong in the pantheon of blackness. You know, blackness has been treated as a very monolithic experience in entertainment. You know, if it's not a hood story, it's not a Black story. And, you know, sometimes I feel left out of that, you know, so it's like, you know, like if there's ever a poll and they say, oh, what are your favorite Black shows? And, you know, Martin is in there, or Living Single, or any of those kinds. I already know we coming in last. But if there's ever a poll and it's just like your favorite family shows and suddenly Martin's not in there or whatever, all of a sudden we rank really high. And so it's kind of interesting in how we look at ourselves, to be quite honest, even as Black folks. And somehow I became a symbol for Black male nerd culture, to be quite honest. I mean, I know this for a fact. Any brother that grew up in the 80s and 90s, well, 90s and 2000s wearing glasses, he was told at school he looked like me. He was called Urkel. And he didn't look anything like me, guaranteed. But still, his peers would find a way to call him Urkel, and even girls to that extent. So it's really humbling to see how far nerd culture has come. And really it's not nerd culture, it's smart culture, it's hobbyist culture, it's skateboarders, and I could never have known in a million years that I would be the face of that. I never could have known that.
All right, Stacy, I'm going to you first. They'll go to you first.
You don't want to come to me first.
Okay, Scott, I'm going to you first.
I mean, I get what he's saying, but I mean, it was a Black show, but it just never had Black moments. Like, for real, like, what was the blackest moment when Eddie was getting roughed up by the cops? And they had to call and what's the dad in that Carl had to go talk to him. Like, that was my son, but I mean, it was an okay show for after a while, but once they start running out of ideas, you got to turn into Stefan Urkel, and you don't know if Laura still love you. It was just okay. It was something to watch on a Friday night.
It was in the TGIF block. I mean, it was funnier. We all know in the beginning it was funny, and then it wasn't, right? But the fact that the idea that if it's not a hood story, it's not a Black story is insane. Because so Cosby Show.
I'm trying to think what hood comedy popped.
This is what I'm saying. So like if it's not a hood story, it's not so the hood shit is what got canceled. We don't have South Central because it was a hood show. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like, if we're going to talk about like, and the thing is, I think it's also, what is your definition of hood? Right? Like, so are you talking about Tubi type shit, or are you just talking about Blackness in itself, right? Or just a show about Black people? Because if you, like I said, Cosby Show is considered a Black show, but it's also considered a family show or a Black family show. And that's, I mean, we got a doctor and a lawyer as parents. That's not common, but it was still something that happened. Martin was a radio show host, right? And Gina worked at a marketing firm.
Marketing executive.
So Living Single, everybody had a fucking job. Khadijah had her own magazine. Like, now, sometimes, rent was due, but She had her own different world.
Hold on, Stacey. What was the hood part about that? I'm gonna just hire my cousin to be the receptionist.
That was the hood part.
My cousin from Minnesota.
Because you already know that's that look. Now that's your mama calling. Now look, now your cousin is coming in.
Yep, she's moving to New York.
Now you gotta now I know you starting that magazine. She can answer the phone or something. Khadijah, now look. And like, oh mama.
Let her put the trolls on the desk.
So, like, all of these things, I'm like, what? You're not considered a black show. Again, like, you were a part of the ABC family block of shows, and there weren't a lot of black things.
It was really that hanging with Mr. Cooper.
It's like we can play the game with that with the Cosby Show of like, well, they didn't show blackness, but they did in ways that we subconsciously didn't even notice, right? Like just the art or the music or just different things you got exposed to because of the Cosby Show that you may have never had known about, right? Without it. So, sir.
And then he's got a chip on his shoulder.
He's always had a chip on his shoulder. And it's like, at the end of the day, you made a lot of money playing Steve Urkel. And unfortunately, people viewed you as that into your adulthood. But I haven't seen you do anything to get away from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with Alfonso Ribeiro, right? Most people know him as Carlton. We've known him his entire life. But it's like,
hey, hold on. I think about my son knows him as the American Funniest Home Videos dude.
You might know him from Silver Stone. Somebody might know him from the Pepsi commercial. But but again, I knew him originally from Silver Spoons, and then years later, you're like, oh man, this dude from Silver Spoons. So, but it's like, yeah,
maybe some people Stacey know him from In the House.
That part. Yeah. You may know from there. So there's other things that he's done. And now, true enough, and he said, he ain't gonna just do the Carlton just because you asked him to every time people, and as he should not have to, like he shouldn't. But I get it. People get typecast, but he has this chip on his shoulder, and it's, dude, we didn't have your picture on our wall, whether you were Stefan or Steve or Jaleel. Okay, like, wasn't nobody buying Right On magazine and trying to find your picture. You were on Tiger Beat, Teen Beat. Like, you were on those.
And he been in them Sharknado series. them little wild movies.
Which is basically a Tubi movie for white people.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, though. Every boy in the 90s getting called Urkel that wore glasses. And yeah, that's pretty. That's accurate. True. Yeah. That's accurate. That is correct. That is. Yeah.
But also, he has, I don't know if he looked at the positives of him in general, though. Like, the whole idea of like this nerd culture, all this stuff, it comes from a lot of that stuff from Steve Urkel. And for at least in black culture, he is I'm trying to think on the nerd side for the white side. Who would be like the white equivalent of him?
Screech? No.
I guess it would be Screech, right?
Nah, because Screech wasn't.
Screech didn't wear glasses.
It's not even the glasses part. Screech was a dork.
Right, and he wasn't like, he was smart.
He wasn't a nerd. He was a dork.
I mean, he was smart though. He was like in all those
smart. He was smart. I mean, I think like him and Jesse were up for valedictorian. Yeah. So he was smart, but he was more dorky than anything, right? I mean, and Steve was the nerd. It was this, he had this crazy intelligence and all of that. But I think that he wants his role in history to be something different than what it is. He wants his character to be looked at differently. I feel like I get left out of those conversations.
What conversation?
Right. Anytime people talk about black sitcoms, we talk about Family Matters because, so what conversation are you want? What do you want to be?
Because they don't have any memorable moments like that, Stacey. And I think that's why we don't mess with it. It's not because of the nerdness or the familyness. Yeah. It was written by Miller and Boyette, the cookie cutter thing. They just put black faces on. That could have been a story for any other their other sitcoms. They just put black faces on them, and that's it. And all the other shows that we represent blackness had flavor in it. They had storylines that catered to us.
And the other part of this is the people that don't know this is that Steve was only supposed to be on the show like one time. The show is a spinoff for Harriet.
Yep.
Because she was the elevator operator on Perfect Strangers.
And she was a sassy mouth, and they were like, we just need a black show. We need something to compete with the Cosby Show.
And they made it. And the thing, and so, but the show
and Carl was on there before too with her. So Carl was her husband that showed up to pick her up one day, and they just like, well, we just take them and move them over,
right? Like, I mean, like because they were already, I mean, yeah, because they were in Chicago, right? So,
Chicago was the boom for all the 80s.
Everybody lived in Chicago. Everybody was in Chicago. Yeah. But it was a spinoff for her. It wasn't even supposed to be about you. But the show wasn't doing that great. They because they didn't know what the fuck to do with it. And he gets one episode, and in some kind of way, now the show's fucking about him. Like my grandma referred to Family Matters as Urkel.
Yeah.
What time Urkel come on?
We're gonna watch Urkel on Friday.
Yeah, so it's dude. Harry still pissed off at him.
So is he's the equivalent to hip hop's MC Hammer? Think about what I mean by they just eclipsed so much higher than what the genre was. Like, remember, both of them had dolls, cartoons
at the same time,
Lunchbox at the same time. They were the two. One was on your TV, one was in your music, and it's nowhere you could come up but go down from that. Like, there's no way you're gonna be able to stay at that height that those two were. And Hammer just don't fuck with nobody unless he will fight you and beat you up. But I think Jaleel having it at a younger age, he never was an adult getting it. Like Hammer was like, nigga, I got my money. Like if I don't fuck with them, they don't fuck with me. Cool.
Yeah, he was still a kid.
Jaleel wants to be accepted. In some block, and people do accept him. I don't understand what his.
You remember that episode of Fresh Prince when he was, I guess, trying to take Ashley's virginity? Yep. You know, he tried to be the suave boyfriend that's going off to college.
Yeah. Like he's not. I mean, and I just wonder if he turned down some roles, and we never know. But I just wonder if he turned down some roles because he was like, "Nigga, I play Steve Urkel," like something that would be like, "Man, a little something here though." Like maybe he only did the Will one because it's Will Smith. I'm gonna work with Will. You know, he cool. But I'm thinking about other roles or maybe other shows. Maybe he could have been on Living Single. And he turned it down because I'm Steve Urkel. I should have something a little bit better than that. I mean, I don't know.
He did one of the movies. When he in
that Camp potato salad. Who ate the potato salad or something?
No, back then. So I'm saying
Camp Cucamonga.
I'm like, yeah, he was in Camp Cucamonga, but
he was popping in though. Like he was.
That's what I'm saying. He was popping in. So I just was thinking about it, but I feel like when the show ended, because I mean, for me, it ended silently. Right, because I didn't even know they had switched stations. I had moved on.
I didn't know Harry left. They switched Harry's and that.
It's like all that shit. So I think
that's Gina Mama.
Yeah, Miss Watts.
Right. So I feel like maybe just like after that, there may have been an expectation of I'm going to be able to move forward and do whatever, and that didn't happen. But at the same time, like. There's a proximity to whiteness that I feel has led him to where he is. And he's now realizing that he's not getting, he doesn't get cookout invites.
But that's his own doing, though, in that instance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you read some of the excerpts out there from his book and stuff, and he's talking about, like, I guess Gabrielle Union and them. I guess they all went to UCLA at the same time.
Oh, Nick. So, right, write this down. I saw that you know, I mean, I can't stand Gabrielle. However, she and I share the same birthday.
Really?
Me, Gabrielle Union, and Tracy Ellis Ross.
Wow. Okay.
So, and sadly, like, as much as I love to think of myself as a Tracy Ellis Ross, there's some Gabby Union, and usually we hate people who have traits that we don't like that are ours. So anyhow, but there were two stories. I think there's something in his book that he had said about fucking about
Jamie Foxworth.
Lawson.
Bianca Lawson, yeah.
Bianca Lawson. About how she's a young actress and she she met me and then she needed money for the arcade and that's when I just realized that she just was trying to. Bianca Lawson didn't need no fucking arcade money from you.
That's what I'm saying. Her daddy was in Blackula.
Like, nigga, do you know who fuck her daddy was? Like, she's a Gordy.
I'm saying, ain't she related to Barry Gordy?
Yes. Her mama's a Gordy, right?
Her mama's a Gordy. Her mama a Gordy. Her daddy Richard Lawson. She didn't need your quarters. The fuck?
So like Barry Gordy, her granddaddy or something.
It was like I feel like she probably
our uncle.
No, she's the no wait no. Her mother is Barry Gordy's niece.
Oh, okay.
But either way,
she's
a Gordy. She didn't need no quarters, period, from him. So the idea of that is just like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, really? Like you felt like she was trying to get over on you for arcade money.
For some quarters.
Some
some tokens.
She don't need your quarters. Like at all. She didn't need it then, she don't need it now. Like not one bit. But Gabrielle Union said she said they hated his ass. She was like that they let me find it. She was like we hated Jaleel. We're struggling students and he's coming to school in a Range Rover. and I think about that though, right? Like when you do have somebody who was a child celebrity or a young celebrity and they go away to college, like how do you acclimate? Because you obviously don't have to stay in the dorms unless it's a requirement. And then even with that, like you can. And
I'm sure Jaleel can get around there and say, I have to act and I have to do some stuff. I can't be in the dorms. You could probably get around there.
Yeah, you probably.
When he said UCLA, Family Matters was still going on.
When he was at UCLA?
Yeah, it was the same time.
Oh, yeah, so he was like 19.
Stay in the dorm.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, I'm not trying to say you dimmer down your light to be around other people. But
I do getting that
pulling up on cats, and cats in a Range Rover at school like that every day. Like they know who you are. You ain't got to stunt like that.
Yeah, and he was getting it.
Especially at that time. It's a different time we in now.
That's what I'm saying.
You can get them questions.
All right, so okay. In another chapter of his new memoir, actor Jaleel White details his first official date that didn't go well at all. In a chapter of his book, Jaleel reveals that he met a young woman at the NAACP Image Awards and took her on a date only to feel disheartened when she seemed uninterested until they visited an arcade and she needed money. After seeing her on set one day for Saved by the Bell, the new class, he realized that the girl was actress Bianca Lawson. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized then that Bianca was an inspiring actress. I highly doubt my asking her for her phone number would have gone the same way had my position in television not signaled a possible opportunity for her. I imagine that ambition is what won me her phone number in the first place and probably extended our knowing each other. Go to hell.
Damn, I gotta go back and watch the new class. I forget she was on the new class.
Hell, one, I actually did forget that she was on there. But two, sir, if you don't go to fucking hell, like go kick some rocks with some pebbles in them. How dare you? First off, Bianca Lawson has been fine always.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I remember when I first saw her on Saved by the Bell.
I'm like, she's been fine always. The girl, she's a vampire as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Mm-hmm. The face is clear. Okay. It's like she just does nothing but drink water and mind her fucking business. That's the kind of face that she has. And for you to feel like, oh, it's because of my position in television, blah, blah. She didn't need you.
Bianca Lawson was like Megan Good before Megan Good.
100%. 100%.
Or like she didn't fucking need you. But my Scorpio sister, Gabrielle, so Jaleel also spoke about attending UCLA with a then unknown Gabrielle Union, who hadn't yet broken into the industry at the time. During a party, Gabby told him the truth about how he was viewed on campus. We couldn't stand you, Jaleel. The rest of us couldn't afford top ramen, could barely afford our books. We're working in a shitty bookstore, and you walked in there and made us price out a display bear for $500. We hated you and your Range Rover, always driving around playing loud music.
What do you do for $500?
It was some. They had that price out to make its price out a display bear for $500. So I don't get what, but either way, the point is that you're on campus, you're at UCLA. People know who you are. You don't need to be like that's. There's attention seeking.
Yeah, just go to school, man. Just go to class and go home.
You know who I'm is? I'm Urkel. Nigga, we know. Like even without them glasses on, we can.
He would have tried to pledge.
Hey, that's a whole nother thing. What if he did try to pledge and the cats are like, we good?
But man, I'm Urkel.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's all assumptions. This is all just.
I mean, that's an interesting point, though. That's interesting. But yeah, Jaleel White can go to hell. Like it's the delusion for me. I don't. No, yeah, we're not. No thanks.
It's just like it like he literally. And it goes back to when he was. It was a video we never discussed it when he was talking about how he declined on doing a reboot of Family Matters, and wanted to do like a behind the scenes story of basically the life of Steve Urkel, like not Steve Urkel, Jaleel White, actually being the actor Jaleel White having to be on a TV show. That's what he wanted to pitch and do. Like, hey, this is some kid that's a kid acting star. Basically, what's the show with The Rock, Young Rock, basically Young Rock, but for Steve Urkel. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. But cats do, I mean, I think y'all could have got to it because he was like, yeah, they were really pushing for him because that, Fuller House was successful. I believe what Saved by the Bells reboot was pretty successful. And they were like, hey, why don't
and they did Fuller House. But the thing is, though, but they did Fuller House without the Olsen twins.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they brought everybody.
I mean, let's keep it real. Also, it may have been a lot.
You can't do Family Matters without.
Yeah, but I'm saying on Fuller House, the Olsen twins may have been a liability at this point. We don't know if they're gonna show up on set.
So always remember, Heifers do not need the money, and when you don't need the money, you don't have to do a goddamn thing.
I mean, I guess Jaleel don't either though, right? In the same instance,
he doesn't. Like, no, if he manages shit right, he's fine.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, in all intents and purposes, it seems like his family.
Ideally he should be fine, but there's a very good question about who owns. So does he own the rights to the name Urkel, to the rights to Steve Urkel?
I don't think so, because I remember he came out with his own weed, but he had
like that's what
a different way.
It was Perp Urkel or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, but he had to spell Urkel with an extra K or R or something.
Oh, he don't own it.
Yeah. So here's the thing: Jaleel White played Steve Urkel. He did not create the character. He does not own the rights to Steve Urkel, so he can't even profit off of it. So there's a possibility, like he may have gotten something from those toys. But it's quite possible that all that money went to
Miller Boyette.
Yeah. Or whoever produced the toy, whatever. Like he doesn't own that. So, and I'm sure when he signed his contract or whatever, like no one thought to throw that in there. To throw something like that in there as far as merchandising and everything is concerned. Because I mean, seriously, most at that time, not TV shows didn't really do merchandising. Like that wasn't a thing. Like it had to be something really specific for you to go out and buy it, right? So for the Urkel doll, like with the MC Hammer doll or the Urkel doll, like that was like, but again, Hammer might have got his money. for it, but you may not have got money for that Urkel doll.
I mean, he knows. I mean, he was a dope. He's in the pantheon of black characters in TV shows. Like, let's not. I mean, I don't know why he won't just. I don't know. He affected the culture. I remember the episode vividly, seeing the episode for the Coolin' You episode where he became Stefan Urkel. Like, yeah, that was like a big deal in the culture. Like, yo, like
probably that one. Like I said, of course, the one when the cops, was roughing up Eddie.
And then maybe with the one where Urkel Stefan proposed to Laura at Disney World.
I don't really remember that one.
Yeah, that one was a big thing because that was like a real. It was always people there for real, like on that, just taking their kid to get on Magic Mountain, and and they had that going on at the castle.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. And see, I remember a lot of the older ones, like when Lorenz Tate was the bully.
Oh, and when they had the Urkel dance. Think about that. I forgot the fucking Urkel dance.
And then he was on every show doing the Urkel dance.
Yes.
Yeah, he was showing
crossing over. He crossed over what? Step by Step, Full House. Probably every show on TGIF, even if the ones that got canceled soon, he probably was on there.
Yeah, damn near every show on ABC, man.
Yeah.
But I didn't see. Like, so I didn't see the proposal. Like I said, I had given up way. I
think I stopped watching like right after Stefan Urkel. Like, I think after that moment, I think I was done with it.
So I stuck around for Myra. And I remember.
Hey, this cool ass Scott from the I Love 90s Music Podcast. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like it on the SOLC Network. You finna get all the real deal on the 90s, the 2000s, and the splash of that 80s. Do it right now, man, and I'll be your friend.